Hello, everybody. This is Victor. I think I'm already emitting. I'm not sure how this works because I'm not honestly a fan of these kind of things. So let me check. Mm, I'm just trying just to find the real time. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Okay, I think now you are watching me, and I'm taking just the video in real time too. So we're going to compose a theme, orchestral track as always, for an upcoming video game I'm working on. This is a MMORPG, so massive multiplayer online uh, role video game, and it's going to be released probably in a couple of years still, but it's kind of big project, so I just thought it would be nice just to share some of what we do here with you. I'm not allowed, unfortunately, to show any pictures or any material from the game, but I think it's fine if we just work on some music here for it, so you can see more or less what I usually do. So this is my template, as you can see, and first thing I usually do for each track is just a piano sketch uh, idea. So in this piano sketch, basically what I usually do is just setting the main melodies. I find a main melody, I find the structure, I find the harmonies I want to use, and usually before I start sitting in the piano, in the keyboard, what I usually do is just I have something in mind already. So usually, I mean, not right now, okay, but I usually just find an idea I like in mind, and when I have it more or less clear, it's when I sit down in a piano keyboard and start working on that, okay. uh, but of course, it's not something I can do always. Sometimes I just don't feel mm, inspired enough and I don't have maybe that idea. And in that case, I just improvise because usually, even when I maybe don't like what I'm getting at that moment, but it brings me to a place, a situation when I find that inspiration I didn't have in the beginning. So, mm, what should we do is just set first key. So I don't know. For example, what about G minor? Just the first one I thought of. Okay, and these people just want super memorable melody, super catchy melody, and they like especially classical cinema styles, like I don't know Miklos Rosa, Maurice Jarre, Jerry Goldsmith, Nino Rota. You know all these composers, and also they like classical music like Tchaikovsky, Rinsky-Korsakov, many of these composers that are pretty famous, all of them, and they like their style, which is mm, okay. I mentioned many of them, and there are many different ones. I mean, they have different styles, but mm, all of these styles work fine with this game. So any of them would work. So I think I can't show you maybe references, exact references, because of copyright issues, maybe, I don't know. But just in case, just think of these composers, that style, okay. So mm, for example, the Love Them the love theme of mm, The Thief, which is a film I think Miklos Rozsa composed the soundtrack for, if I'm not wrong. And let me check, because I think, yeah, I think it was Miklos Rozsa. Sometimes I'm really bad for the for names. Okay, I always forget names and this, but yes, it was Miklos Rozsa, the one who composed the main theme for the Thief. But you know that style, okay? So I stop talking and I will start searching for an idea. So if we said G minor, I think. So let's try this. Find something, something catchy and beautiful and just dark, a bit dark. So. Something like that. Okay, I like that. I like that. So let's record that. Dun, dun, dun. I like that. I was just losing focus because of the metronome. It's clipping, but I'm not sure if it's annoying in the audio you are listening to, because here, yeah, it clips, but it doesn't really makes a. It's not a big issue, you know. I just put it at volume. I can maybe tweak this here and just reduce the volume. Let's see. But I usually do that. Wait, let me. Now you're listening to it in the way I do. So. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let's go. I need to. Yeah, that's it. Something like that could work, just for the piano sketch at least. And I think I want this melody in the violins. Yeah, maybe in the violins. Let's try with the violins. I think this would sound nice. So let's go here. Let's just use these libraries. I usually like how these two libraries, Vista by Performance Samples and Appassionata by Spitfire Audio, work layering each other. And also if you just use the Cinematic Studio strings with the new update they released, these three strings libraries sound amazing together. So, okay, let's try to record this. I'm going just to share with you the piano roll so you can see what I played here in the piano sketch, okay? And I'm going to try to replicate the correct melody, okay? Not this, for example. No. Okay, yes, what I think is going to be the correct melody, okay? Just going to replicate this in the violins. So let's go with second violins first. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Mm. I think I'm doing something wrong there. I just don't know what is the chord, but okay, let's see. Okay, let me just I'm going just to double the piano sketch and just play the chords, okay? So I'm going to focus on this to use the other sketch for reference, but I'm going to record just the harmony now. So let's go. Okay, I know what I did wrong in the violins. I just thought that this beat would be D major, and it's just a diminished chord, so this is not nice. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, yeah, I'm going to remove this violin. I just don't like how it sounds, how it how it's working. So I'm going back to this reference, and I'm going to record the second violin again, just trying to improve this melody in the end. Okay, so let's see. Much better. Um, Also, I like it because I changed some things in the first half. So the melody is not exactly the same, but just it has some variations, adding some more interesting things to the piece. Okay, so I think something. Okay, we can just record now. If we go back to the template, we can just record the bases maybe. So okay, I'm going to go back to the sketch, now the harmony sketch, because this way I know what the bass line I want it to be, because we have some inversions here that help with the voicing. So as you can see, the bass wouldn't move too much, which is great for the voices. So let's go and record this bass line. Okay, so let's. Nice. So we have now the bass. Let's record the cello. And when I usually compose for strings, I always try just to okay, let me just do something, because I think you are not seeing it because of the privacy. So let's make this public. I'm not sure if you are watching, if you can watch now. I hope so. I hope you have access to this. Okay. So basically, what did we do here? We just I first of all I recorded a piano sketch, trying to find a nice melody, nice harmony, and nice structure if the piece were longer. In this case, this is a short piece because it's for a video game and they don't need longer pieces than 30 seconds, less than 1 minute in any case. So we don't really have to work on an structure, because with that time we don't have freedom at all to think of a good development. We will need more time. So that's not something possible, unfortunately. So we just need to focus on catchy melody and of course the harmony to make it interesting, because it's super short what they need. So in having that clear, I just focused on a melody and harmony. So basically, I want classical cinema style or classical music, like Rimsky-Korsakov, Tchaikovsky also. And if we go to the cinema, we would think of Miklos Rozsa, Maurice Jarre, Nino Rota. These composers, really well-known ones, and they want in some way that kind of music. Maybe not that much in the sound, but just the style, the instrumentation, the way the pieces these composers did work. So basically, we are just doing that. Okay, so this is the piano sketch I composed first. It's just the first idea, and now we are going to orchestrate it. So far, we just composed. We just bring the melody to the violins. We recorded also the basses. The basses, which you can see here, doesn't have really much changes, which is good for the voicing. So that's great. And we are going now to record the cello. And when I work on strings, on writing for strings, I usually try to give some movement to each of the instruments. So they won't play like pads or anything like that. I never use ensembles in strings, only maybe for sketching something, but not for writing a final idea. So I try just to give each of the instruments a melody, so they have movement. It's more interesting to listen to, and it's more interesting to play also. And that leads always to better results if you are working with real musicians. So, for example, this soundtrack is thought to be recorded with an orchestra in the future, probably next year. So I need to have these things in mind too, okay, when composing music for this game. So I'm going just to record the cello, just a line between these two. These are the second violins, because I'm going to double this one with the first ones. 1 octave higher, I mean, probably in full melody, but I'm going just to write something for the cello in the middle of these two. And that's all. Let's go with it. Let's go. Okay, this is not the best line ever, but it's okay. I think it gives the idea. Let's record now something for the violas. And I'm going just to show you the editor so you can see what I recorded. I just don't like here because it's pretty close to the violins. The violins are in the low register, and the cello, they are going quite high in their register, so that's not nice because the violas are going to do unison with some of them, and probably I will see. No worries. Let's record the violas so far. Okay. I'm not happy with this completely. Let's try just to make the violins 1 octave higher so we don't have these problems here. And let's see how this works here. Maybe I can just maintain the second violins in the same octave both times and just allow the first ones to go high. So let's see, because this is pretty high actually for the violins. Yeah, it's going to be too high. Yeah. But okay, let's see. Okay, we have problem here. And I think it's the telly, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, because it's like basing, I'm not sure how to say in English, but that kind of notes that are not from the chord, and you use that just to go from one place to another one. I don't know. And it was in the strong part of the. I think it's going to be sound. It's going to sound better now. A bit better. And what I told you before. I usually like how these three libraries work together for strings. Vista by Performance Samples, Appassionata by Spitfire Audio, and Cinematic Studio Strings, the latest update they did. So, okay, let's record this here, and just let's move this here. I have these three libraries doing the same right now, and it sounds much better. Okay. Okay, what can we do now just to give more sense of movement, just not to make it boring at all, like it sounds right now? Maybe adding a harp, just arpeggiating this, so. Okay, let's record this arpeggio, something like that. Sorry. Okay, so we have here, I'm just correcting some of the mistake notes I played while recording it. But I think we have this. Let's quantize this. I think. Okay. Now, finally. Okay, so. Hey Joris, I'm sorry if you were the one if you texted before. I just didn't see. I'm not really used to do this kind of live videos, so I just didn't even notice there were a chat here. So I hope you're still there, and I'm sorry for not answering on time. So hello. I'm just composing here something for a game I'm working on, so just wanted to share this with you. So what else can we do? What else was really used in this kind of productions in the past? They usually double the first violins with flutes. So I have 2 flutes here by Berlin Woodwinds, by Orchestral Tools, and just copy that because it sounds pretty well already with this same expression and modulation. So okay, we just need to focus now on allowing the flute players to to breath. So I'm going to listen to the melody as it is right now, and then I'm going to select where the player should breath. Okay, so let's go. Okay. I like that. Just not sure. I think, yeah, flutes. I was doubting about this note. I think it was not in the register of the flutes. I think we are going just to put the flutes down so they can play everything correctly, and that's all. So basically I just selected some points where the flutes should breath to make it realist. And what can we do also? We can double actually the flutes with the oboes. So let's copy this here, but 1 octave lower. Yeah. Also because the oboes in their lowest register sound bigger than in the high one. So and the flute is basically the opposite. So that's interesting, especially as I told you, if you are thinking also of recording this with real players, which is the case in this game. So I need to think of all of these details when I compose. I can't really add, I don't know, violins doing pizzicato, doing spiccato, doing many things at the same time. It's better just to think as a real orchestra if they had to play this live. So the realism is better. So let's record two bassoons, okay? So 2 lines for the bassoons. And what are we going to do here? It's just the harmony, I think. Just like kind of pad with the bassoons. So here we have everything, and probably just for the harmony, just to have a better idea of what the bassoon should do, I think we can go to the piano sketch we have with the harmony. So this is the harmony from the piano sketch, and it's going to help us with detecting the chords in case we have any doubt. So let's record the bassoons, something like that. I think these are the chords, so let's go. Okay, I made some mistake here. This note shouldn't be that one, and instead this one. Okay. Also here we have some mistakes, but that's fine. So this is the piece so far. So, I hope you like this. What else can we add here? Clarinets. We didn't give anything to the clarinets, and I think maybe a counter melody, or maybe just doubling some of the strings lines, because strings lines basically are just kind of counter melody, counterpoint all the time. So maybe we can just double some of this, or just think of something else, I don't know. Or we can also add some support to the harmonies. So I don't know. I think I like that, something like that. Okay, so I think there is a mistake around here, probably here. I think so. Yeah, so these are the clarinets. Okay, so maybe we can just go with, I don't know, let's just improve a bit just the beginning. So I'm going to add a glissandi in the harp, but I'm not going to complicate a lot. So I'm just going to use pre-recorded one. Okay. So what is this harp I'm using? This is it's by Orchestral Tools, and the library is Symphonic Sphere, which is great for some kind of textures. And I'm going just to select one, something like that, like, okay. And I'm going to play this in the beginning. Okay, and for doing this, you can either do it like this or just bounce it to audio and see where is the place where you want to finish the crescendo, the glissandi. But I think for the harps is usually not a good idea because it's not easy to detect. So I'm just doing this way. Okay, what else? Okay, I think we can go with timpani rolls, just something super soft, like, I don't know, something like that. And these timpani are from Hans Zimmer Percussion by Spitfire Audio. So yeah, that's something I use quite a lot. This timpani, they sound amazing. Timpani roll there. Let's record now some tam-tam. I think, yeah, that one. Okay. 1, 2. Because I don't want it to be really big, like it would sound like if I use suspended cymbals or something like that. I wanted something like softer, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I have two options here. Just doing it in the end of the phrase, like I did here, but of course maybe just reducing a bit the velocity, the MIDI velocity of the tam-tam, of the hit, or we can just do it maybe more typically when the roll in the timpani just end, like in the beginning of the second phrase. I think I prefer this one. Yeah. But now I think I'm going just to record some timpani hits, just with soft mallets. So they are just more like something, not really hard. I just want it to be a kind of atmosphere. Okay, so these are timpani, and this is the piece so far. Let's see. I'm going to select everything so you have the MIDI here, and I think this should be enough as they don't really want long pieces. So let's see. Relative pitch is important for film composers. I'm not sure if I know what you mean. Remesque? Relative pitch? You know, English is not my first language, so maybe I'm missing something, but not sure what you mean exactly. If you can explain a bit better, maybe I can tell you what I think. Relative pitch? Do you mean... I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure, really. What do you mean? Anyway, I was thinking before also to double maybe the melody in the second part, in the second half, with horn, a solo horn, and especially I like this Cine Samples horn, the scan horn from Cinebrass. You know, I'm still thinking about what relative pitch might mean. Relative pitch. Okay, this is the library I'm thinking of for doubling the melody in the second half. Okay. So I'm going just to use the piano roll again and just see the melody, maybe. Okay, this D, this note in the horn, I'm playing one octave lower than this, than what is written here, but I think this note, yeah, they can play it, but it's not easy. And we have a problem here because if we play this one octave lower, it's not going to be... It's not going to be probably in the as exciting as this second half might need. So, and the problem is not just this D, because they maybe play this, especially when it's not the first note. Okay, we have something like... We have some kind of spam, it looks in the chat. So I'm going just to try to... okay. I just... Yeah, okay. I'm sorry for this. I'm just trying to... remove this shit. Okay. And this one. Okay. So we can try and we can see. You know, this is often something that we just... It's about trying and see what happens. So I mean, like the ability to play what you hear. So you hear a melody or a chord progression and you figure out the pitches by ear. if you have some kind of reference. Ah, okay, I understand what you mean. Mm, I think that's important, mm, but uh, okay, this is useful more than anything else because you can detect many resources by other composers that actually are useful, and this helps especially, I think, when maybe you are listening to a soundtrack, mm, and you find something really interesting in what you are hearing, and it's always useful for detecting what that composer is doing exactly there. If you didn't have that pitch, that that ability of just detecting mm, a melody, chord progression, and figure out what harmonies they are, especially for the harmony, maybe. Um, you should need to go to the score to check the score, and that assuming you know how to read music, right? But if you have that ability, you can just figure out what they are doing and just apply that to your own compositions. Of course, not copying that, but in the end, I think in the music, everything is already done. Everybody, mm, okay, I mean, you are not going to discover any kind of new harmony or new things in orchestral music that mm, someone didn't do before. I mean, anything you do has been done before, but it's the way you combine these resources, these things, the way that maybe make your music unique, which is something of the most important things for a composer, I think. Just find your own style, your own sign. And I think that relative pitch you talk about is important, especially for mm, having more resources and just obtain them more quickly, and just you can apply them later to your own music and make them your own ones. So maybe, I don't know, if you listen to James Horner, for example, I'm going to use a piano here, one moment, and you will notice if he were in G minor, for example, one of the things he usually does is just go for this kind of colors. And this is something I just heard in his soundtracks, and I'm not sure. For example, Legends of the Fall. How is that? How is that famous piece of that soundtrack? It has a super famous. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just playing by actually hearing this relative pitch. So I think he does something like that. Well, sometimes it's hard to find the. Yeah, so he does this thing. These kind of colors are really beautiful and really interesting to use in your own music sometimes. So I think, yes, that's something important for film composers, for composers in general, I would say. Films composers are just we just compose music for films, video games. I understand film composer as a media composer, right? So yeah, I think it's important, Mm, so I hope I answered correctly what you wanted to ask me. And Joris, do you use BEP? No, I don't use that. I'm using an iMac Pro. I'm not sure if you can see. I actually don't have a supercomputer here, but for what I do is more than enough, I think. I'm not sure if you see here. Actually, I only have 8 cores, Intel Xeon, 64 gigabytes of RAM, and I have then all my libraries in Thunderblade, mm, which is an external SSD that connects to the computer through Thunderbolt 3, and it has 8 terabytes. It was expensive, but really, really good for when you want to read big libraries like orchestral ones, for example, all the orchestral tools ones, Berlin Woodwinds, all these libraries are Berlin Brass are pretty big, so you need something with fast uh, velocity, with fast speeds of reading, and especially reading, I would say. So that's what I use. My computer is not really a monster today, but it works pretty well for what I want to do so far. So maybe next year or in a couple of them I have to update it because it has already 4 years, I think. And I think they are going to release Mac Pro's new year. And as I'm using Logic Pro from few years already, I don't feel I want to change my DAW. So yeah, I'm going to keep using Mac for sure, as far as I can, of course, because they are ridiculously expensive, and that's an issue, of course. So I think I was just talking about doubling the second half of the melody with the horn. So let's go with the scan horn by Thin Samples. You're welcome, Remesk. I'm glad that I answered what you wanted to know. Okay, so let's go back, and we are just finishing this because yeah, this is too high for the horns. So okay, let's. Yeah, I think we are going to record there. So that's it. I think the piece is complete now. Okay, so just another trick or something I sometimes do It's just when I need more body in a composition, like because orchestra has the frequencies it has the power it has, but sometimes we need some extra, especially when we are composing for media, just video games, music. I mean film music, trailer music. These things that usually, okay, when we go to the cinema, we just have super nice sound equipments that with lots of basses and sub basses frequencies. So I usually like to take advantage of that. And one trick that maybe you already know, because some people do it. Actually, Alan Meyerson has some master classes in Mix with the Masters that he talks about doing this with different synths in Pirates of Caribbean. I'm not sure about the title in English, but he was mixing that one of these pieces from that soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, and he was using lots of synths that you can't hear directly in the mix, but if you remove them, you will notice that they are not there, that they are not adding that extra bass frequencies. So Sinoidal, I'm using here just Omnisphere, but you can use any synthesizer that can create a Sinoidal note. How do you create that in Omnisphere? Okay, I'm going to just add one Omnisphere patch. So let me load here Omnisphere. Okay, so you have Omnisphere here, and you want to create a sine wave. So basically, you just select. When you load Omnisphere, it sounds like this, which is super ugly sound. But here in the only sound you just have to select sine, the kind of wave. And in the main part, you just have to bring the voices to 1, and that's all. That's what you have to do to have a nice sine wave here. So I'm going to remove this, and let's go back to this place, and I'm going to add just very low, very low, very low. I'm going just to add the basses. So let's go with this, and I'm going just to record the basses in the sine wave, okay? Okay, so basically I just recorded a sine wave, 1 octave lower than the basses. Let's quantize this. Let's just... And as you can see, it's super subtle. I have this at low volume, like minus 12 dBs, because I don't want it to be something that people notice. I just want it to be there, to add that extra bass frequencies. So, sorry. So, if I remove this, I think you noticed that, right? Without, with, without, with and that adds that extra bass frequencies that makes the music more deep, bigger. It sounds a bit bigger without need of adding more powerful in general in the instrumentation. So that's a nice trick I use. Not I, but many composers around, and many different scenes. It doesn't have to be a sine wave by in Omnisphere or any other synthesizer, but you can use any other synth you want that goes really low, and just put it in the mix in a really low way, low volume, so it adds the frequencies, but it's not It's not something you can hear easily, unless. Mm, but you notice when it's removed. I'm not sure if I explained it correctly. So that's it. So I'm going to show you the final result again, and we are done. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful in some way. And let me know, please, if you want more videos like this, because I can start doing them often if you want. I work here on this every day, so I don't. I mean, it's completely possible just to work while doing this live on the internet. So here on Twitch, that I also started a channel, and just not almost no followers there either, but I don't know, I just don't care. I'm going to do this anyway, so I'm okay with sharing most of the work I do in case it's useful or interesting for someone. So just let me know if you want it. And that's all. We have this piece that I'm going to save now and send the client later, probably today or this week. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm happy to have you here with me, and see you in the next one. Okay?